Hello everybody and welcome Konnichiwa. Welcome to Tokyo Haneda. Airport code RJTT. And of course we are heading off to Hachijojima, which is a island in the Pacific, about 30 minutes east of Tokyo. We're representing a real flight today, All Nippon Airways flight 1891, ordinarily done on a Boeing 787. Welcome back to those of you who are frequent flyers on the channel. And we've got our sim brief bits already connected and ready to go. We're on VATSIM, as you can tell, and we've actually got all our charts and things ready because it's more complicated than I realised for Haneda. So we've got loads and loads of different routes for us. On the way into Hachijojima, we are going to be flying a VOR approach radial. So I'm just getting the charts that I'm going to need ready. We're at stand 60 on Haneda at Terminal 2. And we have Tokyo control on, and they'll be controlling us all the way, potentially. So we need some taxi routes. Taxi route 05, there we go, that'll do us, I think. Fantastic. So where are we? Terminal 2. Satrick, hello, welcome. Let's go ahead and get our clearance then. We are all ready to go, effectively.
Wind 1403, clear for takeoff from Army helipad.
Clear for takeoff from Army helipad, Juliet Alpha 68068. Make right turn to east.
1023. Tokyo Control, good evening, All Nippon 1891 at stand 60, Terminal 2 Haneda, A32NX, request IFR clearance to Hachijojima.
All Nippon 1891, Tokyo Control, stand by for clearance.
Tokyo Control, Metro 175 is off of runway 34 left on taxiway Mike and going to Terminal 3.
Metro 175 heavy, taxi to gate to your discretion.
Our discretion, thanks for the ATC, Metro 175.
Bye.
Said stand by for clearance.
All Nippon 993, spot 7 with Quebec request pushback.
All Nippon 993, pushback up to runway 32.
All Nippon 993, pushback runway 32.
There's a second frequency online as well, 125.7. That's Osaka Flight Information Center.
Jet Alpha 68068, report leaving control zone.
Alpha 68068, report leaving control.
So I've been listening for about half an hour now, and we don't get any immediate clearance from them. Some people have been waiting for a little while.
Request direct waypoints, Charlie Bravo Echo.
In the meantime, we've added our flight plan into SimBrief via the SimBrief integration.
All Nippon 671, clear direct. Kami, Kilo, Alpha, Mike, Yankee.
Nice one, that's good to see, Satrick. Well done. We've got a video going live for a VOR radial as well. Got our V speeds, flaps, temp, flex to temp. There's our initial page ready to go as well. Cruise only flight level 150 today. We've got the VOR frequency for Hachijojima input already with a course of 255.
Defend pilot declaration maintain level 150 Japan safe.
And we're all ready to go basically. You know what I've just realised? I haven't done. VNAV isn't working I'm afraid yet, IDO. Zero fuel weight, 50.2.
Freeway 310 cleared for RNAV runway 24 right approach.
Slash
Clear for RNAV 24 right approach, QA 310.
So it's very busy on the channel. This guy is basically dealing with everything across Tokyo, most of Hokkaido. So he is properly busy. 5.3 tons of fuel we've got on board. Thanks to SimBrief over calculating everything as usual. But hey ho. QNH of 1023. Initial climb to 5,000 as we turn right into Yokohama Bay. And then we're turning checking your flight plan now, stand by please. There we are. So we just be patient, and different regions operate differently. So I've just sent him a quick one saying Roger. He might direct us a different route. SimBrief has generated our route for us, but I did note that the actual All Nippon 18901 flight pretty much just goes direct from Yokohama. They'll fly the SID, the instrument departure, and then they'll go straight to direct to Hachijojima to intercept that VOR approach with a radial, or a VOR arc I should say. So we're waiting for a squawk and our clearance. I'm expecting runway 05 and the Vader 1 departure, which is what we have heard already from a couple of people.
Alpha 93 taxi. Alpha 983 runway 32 left, taxi to Nippon Charlie 1.
Alpha 93 left taxi.
There's our text clearance. So cleared to where is it? That's in our normal chat, isn't it? Cleared to Hachijojima via Vader 1 departure, Oshima transition, and then maintain flight level 150, squawk 1056. Thank you, Tokyo Control. Cleared to Hachijojima via Vader 1 departure, Oshima transition, and maintain flight level 150, squawk 1056 for All Nippon 18901.
Nippon 18901, remarks correct, runway 05, wind 020 at 6, QNH 3022.
Runway 05 and QNH 1022, All Nippon 18901, request push start.
Nippon 18901, push and start approved, runway 05.
Push start approved, runway 05 for All Nippon 18901. So, let's go. He says, let's force this to start, shall we? As usual, Pushback Express playing up. It's more of my second screen than the app, actually, I should say. Anyway.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
I will.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
We've got the beacon on. No, we do now.
Flight 058, leaving Elga.
If you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button.
Clear direct 34 left.
We had a discussion yesterday and on the Discord server about some content and our favourite destinations as well, and Tokyo came up with quite a few of us actually, or Japan I suppose, in a wider sense. So we're going to push back onto Echo 9, or Romeo. And we're going to face that way because we're going to have to come out the cul-de-sac.
You're cleared behind it, you start your engines at your discretion.
Echo 8, Echo,
Control, good evening, Korea 0.
Sierra, Sierra 1, Delta 1 for 05 by the looks of it on the Navigraft.
Korea 704, Tokyo Control reading U5.
Reading 555 also, Korea 704.
It's a handcrafted airport as well for the Japan World Update. And a very nice one at that. The outside view is just, for me anyway, the hotkey is escape, and it gives us this overlay. But if I use drone cam, then I wouldn't have any HUD.
Sorry, Tsubaki arrival and ILS runway 34 right.
Welcome 9742, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain flight 200.
Taking off towards the sun to depart, and then we're making a right turn back on ourselves.
742, sorry.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment.
Engine 1's available as well.
Right with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight.
Flight level after departure, it's climb and maintain 15,000, but we want 11,000 up to that first. Well, the exit for the star basically. Let's pop the taxi light on and get rid of the bleed and master APU off. That's all good. We're going to fly the VOR arrival into Hachijojima, and then probably an ILS on the way back into Tokyo Haneda. Is he clear yet? He's off out the way. Flaps 1 for departure is all we're going to need. David, good afternoon. All Nippon 18901, request taxi.
All Nippon 18901, taxi to holding point runway 05.
Taxi hold 05, All Nippon 18901. So he's responsible for a massive area, so we're effectively going to be taxiing ourselves. There's a couple of aircraft that have been on the ground in Haneda, flying all around Japan, which is actually nice to see. It's a vast airport, but from my model matching tool I've seen a Philippines Airlines.
Tokyo Control, Korea 704, request ATC clearance to
Stick that on for now anyway, just to help him out, so we can see where we are.
Korea 704, clear to New Chitose Airport by Tetra 8 departure, Kimin, transition, flight plan route, maintain flight 330, scope 1061.
Clear to Chitose Airport of SID Tetra 8, Kimin transition, level 330, squawk 1061, Korea 704.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Korea 704, reback is correct, runway 34 right.
We will depart after checking that
Rather,
all
runway
passengers
34 right,
are seated in their assigned seats.
Horizon 983, wind 31, caution wind 307, runway 32 left and whiskey 2, clear for takeoff.
Please switch off your cell phones and other electronic devices, or set them to airplane mode so that radio waves are not emitted.
Listen to the All Nippon Airways safety demonstration.
UPS 5060, go ahead.
And that was it.
We're going to log off for the remainder of our flight. We appreciate the ATC. We'll see you another night.
DBS 5060, thank you for flight.
Great scenery. If you guys have got Microsoft Flight Simulator and you haven't yet flown around Japan, then it is a stunning scenery in the sim. Overall, it's pretty nice. How have they got that scheduled there? That looks very broken. That doesn't look correct. This is the Navigraft data again, the actual nav data. Fader. So that's good, isn't it? So yet again, we can't rely on the data given to us. So once we get towards the hold point, I'm going to have to find the next chart. SID Vader 1 departure. That's what we want.
All Nippon 3, question Japan Air 325, cleared for ILS runway 32 left. Approach via Yokohama.
Mount Fuji off in the distance. It's a huge airport. I've flown into this many times when I was working for an airline as crew, and every time we landed on this sort of pier runway, taxiing over these bridges, it's pretty awesome.
Hey, X-Flight 058, runway 34 left, clear run, wind calm.
Clear trend, runway 34 left, X-Flight 058.
Take off, turning right, over the bay, and then down towards Chiba.
Tokyo Control QA 310, request to taxi to the gate for first time.
MSATRIC, yeah, you know what? I've been reading over the last couple of days the manual for it, and it sounds pretty good. The price is quite reasonable as well for that, so I very highly likely will be buying it.
Alpha 93, 2100, climb 370.
Alpha 93, radar contact.
Alpha 93.
We've got our cabin ready sign on the ECAM there.
Alpha 464, report Mach number.
And there's our takeoff configuration check list complete. So we head over the bridge.
Alpha 464, the reduce speed to Mach point 79.
Ah, fat fingers, wrong button.
0.79 Alpha 464.
This is great to taxi over in real life. I'd imagine it's great for the pilots to do it, but as a passenger it's fantastic. The hotel that I used to stay at is right down there in the distance, the Yokohama Royal Park Hotel. It's one of the tallest hotels in Tokyo. And I regularly used to stay on the 53rd floor, and it was absolutely stunning. We'd wake up sometimes in the morning, and the cloud would be below the level of your window. And if you were lucky enough to have a window facing towards Mount Fuji off in the distance as well, you could sit there really early in the morning and watch the sun rise above, watch the clouds rise above the window, and you'd catch the sunrise with Mount Fuji off in the distance. It was just absolutely incredible. Let's see, we'll turn right here. FN1 crew, thank you very much. And yeah, MSATRIC, yeah, definitely, I'd like to have at least one aircraft that works properly. I would absolutely agree with you there. So we can't go from this taxiway over to that taxiway because of the yellow lines, so we need to come to this one. And we may get our departure clearance very soon. Don't think I'd change the QNH. I don't remember changing the QNH anyway. There we go. So there's Mount Fuji all the way off in the distance there. And there's my old hotel that I used to stay at, the Yokohama Royal Park Hotel there. Beautiful hotel. Flappy Boy's sad. How come? Oh yeah. Yeah, very sad times indeed. The, let's see, take off 1,000 foot, then turn right heading 100 degrees. Tokyo Control at All Nippon 18901. Runway 05 Haneda, ready for departure.
All Nippon 18901, wind 0317, runway 05, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, All Nippon 18901.
X-Flight 058, taxi to gate to your discretion.
Taxi to gate, my discretion.
Here we go.
058.
So, heading off from Tokyo Haneda and off to Hachijojima in the Southern Izu Islands. 30-minute flight time for us once we get airborne. Roughly 30 minutes or so. Don't want that one, I want that one. Flex, that's thrust set. Tokyo City all off in the distance there, on our takeoff roll. Coming up to our V1. Rotate. Positive rate, go up. So this is where the data is actually incorrect for us on the Navigraft stuff, because we need to go straight ahead to 1,000 feet, then turn right heading 100, then turn right heading 222 degrees. So that's where it's very wrong. But there we go, there's Tokyo off in the distance, Tokyo City.
Tokyo Control, coordinate 228, need to check.
Korea 28, Tokyo Control, reading U5.
555, what's ground, 228, thank you.
Coming up to that S speed. Tokyo Bay down below. Beautiful scenery around here. That's flaps to 0 so we can disarm the boilers as well. And then what heading are we going to need, because I'm having to do this ourselves, a heading of 222 degrees. There we go.
All Nippon 18901, radar contact, report altitude.
4,000 feet down up on 18901.
All Nippon 18901, thank you. Climb moment flight level 150.
Climb flight level 150 and up on 18901.
Japan 325, report 638.
Japan 325, report 638.
And if we go to our favourite cabin view, look at that for a fantastic view. Emery, welcome to the channel. Osaka, sorry, not Osaka, Tokyo Haneda in the distance, and Tokyo City just off behind the winglet. And then coming up on the left shortly will be Yokohama Bay and Yokohama City Prefecture.
本当ジャパン325、2の方向5マイルほどにいるトラフィックのインフォお願いします。
There's another airport down there. We're basically flying all the way to the sun.
Japan 325、
Emery, no problem at all.
そして着陸しておりますコプターです。
ジャパン325了解しました。ありがとうございます。
Thank you for considering it though.
トラックインサイトしてるってことでよろしいですか？
はい、インサイトします。
So let's have a little look at our progress on the charts. We're looking good there.
Log control, coordinate to 8, good evening. Request April clearance to Falcon Point International Airport. Fly level 360.
77, returning, then we're going to intercept that line for Vader. That's our SID complete. So let's have a little look at Navigraft, guys. So there's our current position, heading to Vader, which is here. Turning right at Tateyama, down to Oshima, which is where we've been directed to transition over. Yokohama. So we're basically island hopping or flying over the islands at 15,000 feet. And then at SANGO, we're then starting that VOR arc. But it all depends on the runways really. So if we look at the charts list, we'll be using VOR A. Interesting, none of them have a radial.
Push and start approved, expecting 34 right, QNH 3023, Premier 704.
But there we go, that's going to be our VOR charts. Thank you for subscribing, becoming a frequent flyer. So we'll be making our way in from the top of the charts, and then we're going to be... Thomas, thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. Coming in via Ruri at 12 DME, flying that VOR course of 255 degrees down to the runway. We're going to be at Ruri at 2,000 feet. FN1, very good question. What is my favourite aircraft? What's my favourite airport in the sim? Great question. At the moment, currently, I would say it's... I'd probably say it is... Gatwick or Manchester. It's a flip between the two really, but I love some of the Japanese islands that have been built into the sim, because they are absolutely stunning.
Runway 05 report, ready for pushback, Coordinate 28, thank you.
Yeah, David, you're correct. Yeah, I was forgetting the actual Hachijojima arrival star charts. I'll show you guys that. It's a 14 DME arc, and I'll be releasing a video on how to fly these tomorrow, and showing you what not to do as well. So at SANGO, at or above 5,000 feet, and we're then going to be on a radial of 009 from the VOR station there, turning left at 16 DME. To meet that 14 DME arc as we make our way across to either Shell or Ruri. We're going with Ruri at the moment, with that course of 255 degrees. 12 DME, start our final approach. We've got
American 9742, clear for
Hachijojima 1186.65, the VOR maps ready to go. It says at the bottom there, cross Shell or Ruri at or above 2,000 feet.
Echo arrival to ILS runway 34 right, American 9742.
And we'll be there before we know it really. We're making great progress, just passing the end of Shiba at the moment. We're already at our cruise altitude of 15,000 feet, which is coincidentally the altitude that All Nippon Airways uses. Just make sure I didn't click something there that was going to break it. The autopilot, good. Tiny airport down there. What is that? more of a helipad. Heading south and then turning left, we're going to follow the volcanic chain of mountain islands all the way to Hachijojima, which is off down by the horizon there. And Mount Fuji off in the distance there, guys. It's such a stunning place to fly into and out of in real life. And the only place where I've seen a sunset better than, or sunrise better than Tokyo, or Japan I suppose, is Mauritius. Hey Flight Simmer, welcome. David, nice. I've not really used the G1000 Caravan too much for detailed things. I tend to just fly it visually towards the end, but I should get my head around it a little bit more.
Yeah, good evening. Check your contour, reading at 784.
Yeah, with that ARC video that I'll be releasing tomorrow, I've actually created a PDF document as well
Destination is
to go with the video, so those of you who watch the video, in the description there will be a link and you guys can download a PDF that I've created to try and help explain it a little bit better. So use the video and the PDF to try and help, and hopefully you guys find some good use from it.
Roger, Merry Christmas.
It's absolutely stunning.
Tokyo Control, Korean 520, maintaining flight level 290.
FN crew, great question. Not sure if this is mentioned on your channel, but do you use the TCA Airbus side stick to fly? No, I don't. I've got a quite, I suppose, a cheap version. I've got a Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS X full flight kit.
Monitor Unicom 122.8. Good day, Korean 520.
Flight Simmer, thank you. We've surprisingly risen really fast from 500 subscribers. Very exciting. I woke up last night and I'd gained another 30 subscribers overnight, which it was mind blowing. It absolutely blew my mind. So thank you to everybody for subscribing and joining me as a frequent flyer on the channel. As always, you can find me on Discord, where we've got an ever-growing server, and there's a channel in there called Content Suggestions. So if there's anything you guys want to see, then you can let me know on there. Regularly I'll put a poll on there as well for a couple of options for some live streams, and everybody can vote for what they'd like to see the most. So today, Tokyo Haneda to Hachijojima was one of the 3 routes for Japan that won the poll.
Request your approach, request approach type intention.
All Nippon 18901, can you repeat please?
Request approach type intention.
Request the VOR Alpha via Ruri, please, All Nippon 18901. There's no METARs for Hachijojima, interestingly. Look at that, that is stunning. Japan obviously is situated in the Ring of Fire, a belt of volcanoes. So all of these little islands here are likely going to be volcanic as well, and I've been in Tokyo myself numerous times. I must have visited Tokyo well in excess of 30 or 40 times in my last career, and I've had multiple earthquakes of varying degrees in the hotel, and it's scary enough on the ground when you have like a 6 on the Richter scale and everything's shaking and you can barely stand up, but when you're 53 floors up in a skyscraper hotel, that's when it gets really scary. But feat of engineering, it's a self-balancing skyscraper or something, so it stood up. But we had to go and sit in the bath. That right in the horizon there is likely to be Hachijojima. So these are the Southern Izu Islands that we're approaching.
Japan Air 325 at Whiskey 6 cross runway 32 right, taxi to spot.
At Whiskey 6 cross runway 32 right, taxi to spot, Japan Air 325.
So we can see just off on our 1 o'clock, we've got the island of Nijima.
704 wind calm, runway 34 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 34.
Further ahead of us, we've got Miyakejima.
All Nippon 1891, clear for VR Alpha approach via Hachijojima arrival.
Cleared VOR approach All Nippon 1891.
Control 185, request upper clearance to VT Vaki, price level 400.
4.5, standby for clearance.
Standby.
Where's this weather coming from, eh? Sim pilot, welcome. Yeah, you missed the takeoff. We'll be landing in Hachijojima soon.
Taxi to holding point, runway 05.
We'll then turn around and return to Tokyo Haneda. I need to find METAR data for METAR RJ. Good grief, what's the airport code? RJTH. So there's no METARs that I can find anywhere, not even online. I can't find any METARs and TAFs or anything. Let's check this one. Nope, completely blank. Wow. So no, there's yeah, this is a regular scheduled flight. Normally it's done by All Nippon or ANA Wings, I believe it is. And let's just see how far we've got before we go. We've got SANGO in 60 miles. We have to be 5,000 or above by SANGO. At MOE I'll request descent, and we need to put in our performance data for the approach. Not that I know what we're going to be dealing with. Have I ever flown ANA? No, I haven't actually. I would absolutely love to fly Japan Airlines. Transition level of 14,000 feet. Wow.
704, radar contact. Climb on maintain flight level 330, no restrictions.
Climb to flight level 330.
Just having a little look at the charts very quickly. I can't find any wind readings or anything, so I'll stick that in. In fact, let's have a little look at our METAR that it's got at the moment. .09 degrees. QNH 1019. We'll use that one. That's the nearest available, so we'll use that. 050 at 4 knots though, interestingly, so we might be landing with a tailwind. Morning Brett, welcome. Very late for you.
Korean Air 228, wind 030 at question, wind 030 at 9, runway 05, clear for takeoff.
Let's have a little look at Navigraft again, because I might change our arrival runway to runway 08. Let's see, RNAV.
All Nippon 90, expect RS Yankee, runway 34 right, approach, QNH 3022.
QNH 3022, expect IRS Yankee, runway 34 right, approach, All Nippon 90.
Oricon 464, also QNH 3022, expect
Let's have a little look at this.
34 right.
So where Navigraft is getting confusing because I've got dots and dashes all over the thing. Direct to runway 08, we don't want that. You know what, I'm just going to stick with what we got planned. I know it should be fine. We're pretty good then, aren't we? Yeah, that's as good as we're getting, I think. So, we'll request descent in a second. What I need is the decision height for the runway, and that's going to be on our charts. Approach 08. Ruri 516. I can't remember. I don't think this is in range. Is it? Yes, good.
Oricon 464, cleared by Axel, night to arrival, descent maintain, flight 150.
Cheers, Sim Pilot.
Axel, night arrival, descent and maintain, flight 150, Oricon 464.
Tokyo Control, to airborne pitching.
Runway 26.
Linux 3 departure.
That's 26. That's...
Korea 228, radar contact, climb maintain, flight 360.
Roger, climb maintain 360, Korea 228.
So we're going to have to possibly change because of the winds. What you got? Wind 296 at 16 knots. Okay, so in that case we are good. We're going to stick with runway 26. I'll put what you've put in.
Thank you for waiting. Oricon 85, clear to Ishigaki Airport via Outbound to departure, Samus transition, flight route. Maintain incredible 400, squawk 1044.
There we go. I trust you. Let's get that VOR started.
Maintain flight level 400, squawk 1044, Untitled 85.
Oricon 85, feedback correct, runway 34 left, and QNH 3022.
3022, runway 34, that's Untitled 85.
All Nippon 18901, request descent.
Oricon 18901, you have approach clearance, descend your discretion.
Roger, All Nippon 18901. Let's get ourselves down, shall we?
Oricon 464, traffic 12 o'clock, 9 miles.
Hello, commentator.
East 1, flight level 217
Nice.
descending.
Congratulations. That's definitely sounds a lot more fun. So one thing to bear in mind, guys, as we can see here, the sim isn't allowing us to not go via Hachijojima VOR. So it's getting us to fly in and then back out on ourselves, back to SANGO, and then have the radial. So we'll have to fly all manually ourselves as we make our way in. And we've got the new VOR data, so when we go to the VOR rows, we will lose our flight plan. So it's something for us to bear in mind there and watch out for. Let's start to kill the speed. Very true, commentator. Yeah, it is a very different kind of fun. How are we doing altitude wise? 13,000 still. Through the clouds. Hopefully this cloud base isn't too low for us. And have a quick look at the airport information. It's a 2,000 foot runway, so we'll go with medium brakes. And there's 3 stands, 1, 2 and 3. Brilliant. We'll have to backtrack on the runway as well, so we'll have to taxi to the end and then backtrack. Let's see, star is what we're going to want next. So it's a 14 DME arc.
All Nippon 464, flying heading 090.
So there's a little private message from him. So, Hachijojima has no tower controller, but it has an information officer. Information officer only issues information. So the controller, the area controller for Tokyo will say obstruction not reported. So there will be a guy sat in that station at the airport saying if there's an issue, if there's an aircraft on the runway or something like that.
671, descent maintain flight level 200.
Echo, thank you, have a good day. And commentator, have I got a VR headset? No, I haven't. It interests me, but then it's a crazy amount of money, so it does put me off a little for some of these. Airport elevation is 301 foot, and there's no speed data or anything on the charts from what I can see for this, so it's going to be down to us. But if I activate approach phase now, I can just go ahead and slow the aircraft down on managed speed down to that green dot. What's the favourite airline that I've flown with? Good question, FN crew. I'm going to be really biased here and say British Airways. I've had some exceptional flights with them in Club World in business class. Really enjoyed every one of those. 32 miles. SANGO is going to be roughly where that 16 DME marker is. I've not flown with Qatar or anyone like that. So he's cleared us for the approach. It's going to be down to us to call up runway in sight. Oh, anti-ice detected.
9742, clear for ILS 0, runway 34 right approach.
Clear for ILS 0, 34 right approach, American 9742.
Commentator, what motorbike have you got out of interest? I'm looking to do my direct access at some point in the next few years myself, actually. And yeah, Flight Simulator, yeah, of course I was going to say British Airways. Turkish to Istanbul once a year. I've flown American Airlines, but I found it quite... it just wasn't the same. And there's nothing better. So I've had a horrific holiday in the Dominican Republic before, and we got hit by Hurricane Maria while we were out there. It was just generally an awful holiday. 2 weeks, a lot of expense, and not particularly enjoyable for either of us, me or the missus. What we ended up doing when we got to the airport at Punta Cana to fly home, we saw that British Airways 777 taxiing in, and there was just that amazing sort of feeling of stepping on board and being home on board the aeroplane. It was I don't think any other airline for the UK could replicate.
Request descent, all is on 671.
So there's the weird, messy thing that the sim has forced into it. FN crew, how many A380s have I flown on? Lots, actually. I was one of the first few cabin crew approved to go on the BA A380s. So I flew on ex-LEA quite a lot for the Heathrow to Frankfurt training flights. And then I've flown LEA, LEB, LEC, LED, LEE between Los Angeles and Heathrow quite a lot. So we are looking good for this, guys. It's a 14 DME arc, and at 16 DME, we're at 21.3 now. We're going to be looking to start flying that radial. If I put it in VOR mode now, as you can see, we lose that VOR, we lose the flight plan, but I'm going to do that at the end for final approach. Oh, and it's raining, fantastic. Even better. So once we pass SANGO at 5,000, we're going to start a descent down to 2,000 foot for Ruri. And we're tracking that Hachijojima VOR currently. 18.6. Let's go flaps 1. All the lights are on. Let's arm manual heading select. Kawasaki Ninja 400, yeah, it is fantastic for a first bike. 16.5 nautical miles. 4, 3, 2, 1, turn. Speed is key for this, guys, so keep your speed slow so you can control your rate of descent. And if it stays like this, wow. Interestingly, the aircraft's doing that silly thing where it's making us lose altitude quite quickly with a real steep turn, but that's fine by me for the time being. What was it? 14 DME arc. We're at 14.6 currently, so this is looking nice. Interesting how that's drawn on there, so we'll see how we go. 14.5 nautical miles. Let's just make some small corrections.
All Nippon 671, descend maintain flight level 150.
Descend maintain flight level 150 on 671.
Let's put terrain on for now as well, because it's only ocean, but I don't know if there's a little island below us or anything like that. The last thing we want is a volcano. 14.6, so interestingly the data on the nav is out, so I'm going to bring this in a bit more, do heading 110. Have we still got ice on the... I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's one thing that ruins the sim. And we're probably going to just do 700 foot per minute for this. Ruri 255 and approach runway 26. We're doing the VOR Alpha. .8.
All Nippon 18991, report over Ruri. All Nippon 18991, Tokyo control.
Go ahead, All Nippon 18991. Wilco, report over Ruri, All Nippon 18991.
All Nippon 464, so turn left heading 290, descend maintain 6000.
Left heading 290, descend maintain 6000, All Nippon 464.
Yeah, I hope it's on the... I've not checked the Zendesk forums actually for this, but it is a really annoying bug. There's Ruri.
All Nippon 990, descend by start 4000, clear for INS Yankee, runway 34, right approach.
Descend via start 4000, clear for
Still not visual.
Yankee, runway 34, right approach, All Nippon 990.
Wonder how low this cloud goes.
American 9742, INS runway 34 right.
American 9742, runway 34 right, clear to run, wind 360 at 5.
So, auto brake.
Little end, American 9742.
It's a 12-mile final from Ruri in, so from that point we'll then look to configure the rest of the aircraft. Speed's being held at the F. And there's our landing checklist up here.
All Nippon 7, correction, All Nippon 6, 7, 1, contact Hiroshima,
Here
approach
comes all
1,
the rain, not that it does anything,
5.
let's turn the wipers on. There's a lot of rain.
Contact All Nippon approach, correction, contact Hiroshima approach 124.05, All Nippon 671.
5 miles to Ruri.
Bye.
Good Christmas.
13.7.
All Nippon 464, region on navigation, direct 開放。
Region on navigation, direct 開放 All Nippon 464.
So our speed's going to be good. What's our V speeds for landing? 132 approach speed. And then at Ruri we want to head to our minimums. 500, whoops. Let's put it on the VOR rows. And we're looking now to align that VOR. The worst weather condition I've flown in, as a crew member, through some intense thunderstorms into Rio de Janeiro, and they did a runway change as we were on the approach, or as we were descending anyway, through intense storms, extremely turbulent, thunder, lightning, everything, and there was an aircraft not responding to the tower properly, and we almost had a mid-air collision, but the pilot saved the day, of course. All Nippon 18901, net passing Ruri.
All Nippon 18901, show runway 26, obstruction not reported.
Obstruction not reported, All Nippon 18901.
All Nippon 18901, and also report runway vacated.
Report runway inside, runway 26, All Nippon 18901.
All Nippon 464, descend maintain 4000, clear for ILS Yankee, runway 34 right approach.
Let's hope this clears. Oh dear.
All Nippon 990, runway 34 right, clear to run, wind 020 at 8.
Runway 34 right, clear to run, All Nippon 990.
Right, this is going to be interesting. Does anybody know what the cloud base is? Because, I mean, I can see approach lights. It's always a good sign. What we got? Interestingly, our METAR here is feeding us a tailwind of 4 knots. And we want a course of 255. The divert was RJAA. Is that Tokyo Narita? I can't remember now. But RJAA for the divert. Slightly left, slightly right of the line. So we'll just make a little adjustment. Let's have a little look here. 6 DME. Let's turn back on 2. Once we get 3 approach lights, then we are good. I'm going to slow the descent down though, because there we are. Let's nail this, shall we?
All Nippon 464, runway 34 right, continue approach. Leading traffic, Kappa 321, 5 miles ahead.
Roger, runway 34 right, continue approach, All Nippon 464.
Nippon 18901, runway in sights.
All Nippon 18901, Roger. Report runway vacated.
Report runway vacated on Nippon 18901. So we're flying it manually now. Gear down. It's annoying, obviously the ice is melted, so let's get rid of that for performance. Oh, the METAR changed then. We're losing sight of the runway. Interestingly enough, just about to see the 3 approach lights. I mean, this is absolute minimums of probably what is acceptable here. We're approaching our minimums now. And we can see land below. God, it's absolutely chucking it down with rain.
American 9742, taxi to gate.
And the wind's starting to affect us now.
Taxi to gate, my description. American 9742.
Will we? Wow. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button and join us as a frequent flyer as I battle this in. Good grief.
Jet Alpha 6868.
Jet Alpha 6868, Tokyo control, go ahead.
Jet Alpha 6868, 9 miles south.
Oh dear, what have I done? I should have gone to Osaka.
Request to enter control zone for landing, Army helipad.
Wow.
Jet Alpha 6868.
Well, we're almost at minimums.
中本経由進入可能でしょうか、どうぞ。
We're up 2 red, 2 white.
68可能です。
ジェット6868了解しました。リポート、中本、ウィンド140 at 4、テンパーチャー3、93030。
Interestingly, now we're losing that glide slope slightly. We're past our minimums.
3030、request using runway.
Yeah, nervous laughter, definitely.
Runway 09er.
Hi, 09er, Jet Alpha 6868.
Down. And bringing our speed off. See if I can meet this runway, shall we? Or take over manual braking. Oh, look at that. Come on. Slow, slow, slow. And turn. There we go, everybody. Welcome to Hachijojima. 3 stands at the airport. That runway really revealed itself right at the end, didn't it? 1 gate, which is coincidentally where we're going to park. We'll turn around and then we'll fly back to Tokyo Haneda. I really wish the wipers did something. That would be quite helpful. Because all they do is just create a blurry mess on the screen for us, and it doesn't really help. All Nippon 18901, runway vacated.
All Nippon 18901, taxi to gate.
Taxi to gate down Nippon 18901.
Tokyo control, All Nippon 90, now runway vacated.
All Nippon 90, taxi to gate, break. All Nippon 464, runway 34 right, clear turn, wind 36, caution, 0208.
Runway 34 right, clear turn, All Nippon 464.
Thank you, FN crew. David, thank you. Commentator, thank you. Let's turn the taxi lights off. God, this guy gets around, doesn't he? Every airport I go to, it's the same bloke. There we go, there's him. Turn engine 2 off.
Jet Alpha 6868.
We're waiting for the APU.
Jet Alpha 868 じゃグレートランアーミーヘリパートウィンドウ1404
First flight, Dominic. We've just arrived at Hachijojima, and we're going to start configuring a flight back to Tokyo Haneda. One of my favourite places in the world, Tokyo. Come on, APU. How are we doing? It's going to be available any second now, actually. There we go. APU available. Lovely. And let's get engine 1 off.
All Nippon 464, taxi to sport.
Taxi to sport 464.
Yeah, he's a brave guy, David. 1891 is the outbound, so I'm going to go 1892, I think, for the way home. So let's disconnect, reconnect. Now with the All Nippon 1892. Should probably turn the beacon off and the seatbelt signs. And if we use Pushback Express, we could go ahead and connect the gates, or the gate, singular.
All Nippon 970ランプにしました。ありがとうございました。またお願いします。
オルポ970ブロック入荷しました。お疲れ様でした。またお願いします。
Here comes the ground equipment, and let's refresh our sim brief flight plan, shall we? So, just quickly figured out, I'm not sure where Gate Gourmet's going, but he's just broke the plane. One thing I was quite disappointed on about actually was during the Japan World Update, I really thought that we would have a Osaka actually created as well. So they've done Haneda, done a really nice job of that, and they've done a lot of the islands. I guess it's down to actual business, trying to get other companies to go ahead and build payware scenery, I guess. So RJTH to RJTT, RJ8A for a diversion again. Cost index of 25 again. I always tend to use the same one, and of course I'm 1892. All Nippon 1892 for the way home. Departure runway 08. Arrival runway 34 right, apparently. Miyake 3 departure to MOE. V18 airway to ZAC and the ZAC 1 Alpha. Arrival into Haneda. Sim Pilot, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, David, it's odd. I've only noticed it the last couple of weeks actually. The fuel truck going the wrong, like to the front doors first, favouring the front doors rather. This sort of all gets in the way of the baggage as well. What we're doing, V pilot, flight plan, swap that.
Delta for 6868 out of Army helipad, commence taxi.
Delta for 6868 はじゃあタクシーとランプ。
Taxi to Alpha 6868.
Just having a look at this new flight plan while it's tipping down with rain for us still. What is that all about? That is an odd flight plan. Why is it doing that? And then a straight in approach.
Oripon 993 2 小生1400 window 090 at 3 visibility 10 km.
So in Navigraft, I'll show you guys so you can see as I'm doing it.
Temperature -3.
I've cancelled my subscription, so I won't have this forever. I go new flight from Simbrief, and it's built us in this up to my Miyakijima, back up to Oshima, and that's the arrival then for runway 32, is it, or 34? I'm not sure what runway is actually going to be used at Osaka, because departures on 05, Haneda. Wind 020 at 8. Let's do arrivals.
American 9742 on block. Thank you for the great service. Have a nice week. Goodbye.
American 9742, thank you for your flight. Good night.
So 05 doesn't have a direct to. Oh, this is odd. So we can't land on 05. It's departure only by the looks of it. Open charts list. So I guess we could just plan for that ILS Zulu, I guess. Via Cream? Via Arlon.
Thank you for 464 スポットにしました。ありがとうございます。またよろしくお願いします。
オリコン464了解しました。またお願いします。お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。
So that's the strange arrival route that we're going to be flying. Back into Haneda. Straight over to Bay. 34 left. We might be told 34 right, to be fair, who knows. Actually 34 left wouldn't conflict with that, so that makes sense. Cool, so naturally we can't put the flight plan into the MCDU again via the same method with Simbrief, so what we need to do is go ahead and most of this actually I think we can re-request. So let's hide Navigraph. Have I committed that flight plan? We have, so goody good. So I should be able to go ATSU, AOC, init press. So that's changed. Hachijojima to Haneda. 38-minute flight time. Not too bothered about the fuel because I think we've got loads of it still. Yeah, we don't even need to refuel here. Good. Performance, flaps 2 I'd imagine. It might be a flaps 3 takeoff actually, but with flaps 2 with toga. I'll do a flaps 3 departure because that way we can actually test the new features of the A32NX. A bug I reported ages ago. We got a master warning at flaps 3 configuration, so I asked them to change that. and we need to go back to the init page and RJ. This is being worked on, by the way, guys, so hopefully in the near future we will be able to just go and re-request a second plan from SimBrief. RJTT. We'll do flight level 140 because it's nice scenery. NH189. 189.2. Got those numbers mixed up there. Flight plan. Departure. Runway 08. Miyaki 3. Let's turn that VOR off. So it's a HCE, and then it should be up to MOE. And then from MOE, it's the Victor 18 airway to ZAC. Insert. And then from ZAC, it's just out arrival, ZAC 1 Alpha. Expecting runway 34 left, Zulu. If in doubt, and you've got XYZ, if in doubt, choose Zulu. ZAC 1 Alpha, wasn't it? There we go. ZAC 1 Alpha via Cream, so it's going to try and get us to do that little wiggle at the end. That's fine, let's just insert that. Init B. 63. So we've got new fuel and things. Yeah, David, definitely they need to fix those issues first. I would definitely agree with that. So 63.8 tons minus the 4.46 is 59.3. So that's changed to 30.3. Our zero fuel weight though is 29.4. Block fuel 446. That'll round itself up to 4.5. We can drop that down to 0.2 for taxi fuel. Short backtrack and then back. And the fuel prediction page should update itself, recalculate with the new figures. In that time we can go ahead and get our clearance for our return journey. Yep, that hasn't been changed. So, what's our arrival? Miak. Fuel prediction. Hello, wakey wakey. It could take a little while, this. But that's fine. RadNav, actually, we've got the ILS, so that's looking good. We can get rid of the VOR. Don't think that will clear it though. It does. Lovely. So Navigraft gives us that Miak 3 departure. And if we display that chart, we can see that it's 4,000 foot, at or above 4,000 foot by HCE, tracking that VOR of 15 miles. Straight out departure, and then we go up to Oyama, which is over Hachijojima Airport. Miyaki 3. God, miserable weather. Tokyo Control, All Nippon 18902, Hachijojima, Stan 1, A320 Neo, request IFR to Haneda.
All Nippon White 92 to Haneda, copy, standby for clearance.
Roger, All Nippon 1892. So here they tell you to stand by, and they then review your flight plan to sort of see. Well, it's like this weather is absolutely grim. Let's get rid of the jetway. And while he reviews my flight plan, we're going to take off east because I don't want to take off with a tailwind, especially on a short runway. Hachijojima is a handmade airport. And it's a tiny, tiny island as well. Volcanic island, of course. And All Nippon flies from Haneda to Hachijojima twice a day, according to flight radar, on a Boeing 737-700. .38-minute flight time. If anyone wants to visit Tokyo in real life, don't go to Narita. It's absolutely miles away from Tokyo City itself. It's about 2 hours journey away by car or bus, or 2.5 hours sometimes. So go to Haneda. Most airlines have started moving over to Haneda as well.
Thank you. 340, good night to 8.
Korean 704, expect ILS Yankee, runway 01, right approach.
Expect ILS Yankee 01, right approach, Korean 704.
All Nippon 1892, clearance.
Go ahead, All Nippon 1892.
DC clearance, All Nippon 1892, clear to Tokyo International Airport via Miyake 3 departure, flight plan route. Maintain flight 140, squawk 1057.
Cleared for the Miyake 3 departure, flight level 140, squawk 1057, All Nippon 1892.
All Nippon 1892, remarks correct, runway 26, QNH 3017.
Brilliant. So runway 24 then, so we're going to have to take off with a tailwind. I could ask him, but I don't want to mess up his day. And QNH 1057. Let's round that back up and let's put that back onto managed. We wanted to go to straight up to 14,000. It's just the QNH 1017 because Hachijojima 1019.
Korea 704, descend to reach.
Well, we are ready, so let's make our way back.
Neighbor, QNH 3004.
AP bleed, we don't want external power, seatbelt signs on.
1000 by Neighbor,
Beacon.
QNH 3004, Korean 704.
All Nippon 983, fly heading 050, vector 4, visual approach, runway 19 left, via Hayakita, descent maintain 7000.
アルポン98305
携帯電話などの電子機器
All
は
Nippon 1892 request
避
push and
難モー
start.
ドなど電波を発しない設定にするか電源をお切りください。
Ladies and
All Nippon
gentlemen, the doors have closed
92 request push back to runway
after checking that all passengers are seated in their
Clear
assigned
push back runway
seats.
26, All Nippon 1892.
Cockpit to ground.
Please be seated as soon as
Another calling
and fasten your
Tokyo
seatbelt.
Honto again.
Please switch off your cell phones and other electronic
All
devices
Nippon 06 Tokyo
or set
Honto
them
leading
to
U5.
airplane mode so that radio waves are not emitted. Thank you.
羽田ゲート111リクエストクリアランスロサンゼルスエアポートプロポーズイン5 B50
All Nippon 06 Roger, standby for clearance.
Definitely going to be flaps 3 then. We're going to be taking off with a slight tailwind, but his METAR is suggesting that we've got a headwind. So, and I've not been able to find a METAR online myself, so we're just going to have to make do. But it's not too much of an issue in the sim, to be fair. I mean, this is literally the airport. It's absolutely tiny.
You are cleared for high knee. Start your engines at your discretion.
Good question, Don. The safety demonstration is from the Luke Air Tour, so they've got multiple airlines on here for us. So they've got ANA. Interestingly, they've not got JAL, which is a little surprising. But they've got All Nippon. They've got loads of others as well: Thompson, EasyJet, Ryanair, Qatar, Norwegian, Philippines, British Airways. Some of them are more complete than others, so BA for example, and All Nippon Airways as well, ANA. We've only got the safety demonstration on the Luke Air Tour currently, and that is it. And I find that sometimes it can mess with performance a little bit, so after I've played it, I then cancel it completely. We've got some new sounds as well from the A32NX. Let's go ahead and stop the pushback.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the left side with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Engine 1 start. Actually, I wonder if Pushback Express has a ground crew. No, they don't have Japanese. That's a shame. That'd have been cool. So APU bleed. Where's that tug gone? Has he left yet? Yes. He disappeared real quick. Let's put the nose light on. Set. Takeoff configuration.
83, turn left heading 020.
Alpha 993, left heading 020.
Flaps 3. Let's try again. Let's clear the memos. So this is still a bug. We've selected in our performance flaps 3 and our takeoff configuration. It doesn't allow us to do it, but interestingly at flaps 2, when we've requested flaps 3, it accepts it. So accepted at flaps 2, then go back to flaps 3. That's a bug that I raised quite a while ago now actually. No one's yet been able to work on it and fix it. Engines are all good, so ignition mode norm, bleed off. Might as well stick everything on because we're about to go onto the runway anyway. Pop brake, landing light, cabin, check. Tokyo Control, All Nippon 1892, request backtrack, runway 26. 24.
All Nippon, right 92, taxi to runway 26, and report when ready for departure.
Yeah, holding runway 26 and ready for departure on Nippon 1892.
Report 1892,
I don't think many people fly to Hachijojima.
Report 1892, wind 310, maximum 23, runway 26, obstruction not reported, report airborne.
Obstruction not reported and report airborne runway 26 on Nippon 1892. So we have to backtrack. Again, for those of you just tuning in, there is a procedure at Hachijojima where there's the tower controller isn't a tower controller, they just observe if there's an obstruction on the runway. They then tell Tokyo Control if there is an obstruction or not, in which case they then give us clearance to, they don't give us direct clearance to land, they just tell us no obstruction reported. And then it's effectively down to the pilots. So backtrack 26, really wish the wipers did something, so because they don't, I'm just going to leave it off. It's pointless having the wipers on when they don't do anything, isn't it? There's runway 26. Interestingly, there's no backtrack area for us, and it looks like we're almost in cloud already. It's exactly 2,000 meters, the runway. And a sharp turn. Stick down. Let's rock and roll. So again, this is the bug. It wants us to go to flaps 2, it doesn't accept flaps 3, but we should be flaps 3. That's what we've told the aircraft we're doing, so interestingly, again it's one of those annoying bugs. V1, rotate. And bye-bye, Hachijojima. Positive regular up.
Terrain. Too low, terrain.
There's
Too
the other
low,
bug,
terrain.
the GPWS.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
On Nippon 1892, airborne, passing 1,500.
Report 1892, report leaving 5,000 for radar pickup.
Report 5,000 down Nippon 1892. Still flying it manually for the time being. Let's go. Autopilot on. Then as always at S. Wakey wakey airplane.
Oripon 983, turn left heading 010, airport 10 o'clock 20 miles, report airport inside.
So we should be going straight, or slight offset rather, for this departure anyway. We've cleared the VOR, we should really be tracking the VOR to 16 miles and then turning right. Yeah, this is real weather. And we're clean, so spoilers disarmed. We can't see Hachijojima now, interestingly enough. But it's through the murk. It's already disappeared. Let's have a little look at this Navigraft Departure. Yeah, so 18 miles, 6,000. So for you guys wanting to see our position, I'll show you guys the Navigraph briefly. There we go. So we're flying up to 18 miles out, and then we're turning right.
Clear visual approach, runway 19 left over Hayakita, report down in.
Alpha 1, question 993, clear visual approach 19 left via Hayakita, report down.
All Nippon 1892, passing 5,000.
Tokyo Control, Korea 228, disconnect, thank you for your service, 709.
Korea 228, see you next time.
It's great, it's really busy actually.
All Nippon 1892, score ident.
Score ident, All Nippon 1892. Icing, seriously? Doink. There's the ident button. I've pressed it in VPilot as well, for those of you who can't see the VPilot client.
Radar contact you 1 2 miles southwest of Hachijojima. Climb maintain flight level 140.
Radar contact and climb maintain flight level 140 and Nippon 1892. Up to Oyama VOR, MOE. And we'll be going through 10,000 shortly, so let's get rid of those and we'll go to the wing view to look at this silly amount of icing that's for some reason appeared on the aeroplane. For those of you who haven't already had a look at it or heard of it, the weather mod that we're using today is completely free. It's called Unreal Weather, as you can see at the top of the screen now. And the way it works is it pulls in the very latest METARs from the area around you and it feeds that weather data into the sim itself. It's not perfect. It doesn't replicate, for example, snow that's already on the ground. It tries to estimate that, but it's pretty good. It's climbing up to 14,000 feet, and then we're making that short journey back to Haneda via Oshima Island. We're turning right at Oshima. Up towards Chiba. Before we turn back round on ourselves. For quite a lengthy approach actually. It's the Zach 1 Alpha arrival. So here's the charts for our arrival, which we will need to start configuring soon. So flying in on that airway, turning right at Zach or Oshima VOR. Up to Acorn, we have to be there 230 knots and at flight level 130, or 13,000 feet actually, because I think that is the transition altitude. It's written on this chart somewhere. We're flying all the way around this, it's almost like a VOR arc. We're flying round up to Wanda at flight level 130 still, and 230 knots, 13,000 feet, into Wedge, and at this point this is where the sim is different to the charts again, and we're using Navigraft's data because it shows that we head up towards Wedge, but then we go back out to Cream before heading into Arlon, and we don't want that. So I wonder if I can change that. Let's have a little look. So wedge Arlon. Yeah, it's taking us to cream instead. So again, interesting because it's basically a completely different arrival. That it's the Navigraft charts are showing a different arrival to the Navigraft data, which is bizarre. So really, we want TT. In fact, it doesn't even match up, does it? Bacon. What an awesome name for a waypoint. Where's my V-pilot client? Yeah, Zach 1 Alpha. So that is... That's what we should be expecting. Zach 1 Alpha. ILS 34 left. I'm going to put it back in again, and I'm going to do no vires to see if this breaks it in the sim. So let's just quickly go to plan mode. There's Zach, TT. Okay, it just looks totally different. That's not even what the charts show. At all. Interesting. So, you guys have seen the charts for quite a bit now, staring at the charts, and if I zoom out of this one, that's what the sim is telling us to do. Which is very different. So, we'll fly what the sim is telling us in via cream. The controller's probably going to wonder what the hell we're doing.
Korean 704, this is maintain 3000.
This is maintain 3000.
Open charts list. There's Oshima. And again, that doesn't even add up. Neither does that. Oshima 1 Alpha.
All Nippon 106, Tokyo Control.
All Nippon 106, go ahead.
All Nippon 106お待たせします。内房からハードナップまでですが、次に U ルートで、お使いのエアラックで通れるか確認していただきたいんですがよろしいですか？
Yes, that's totally different. We've got Aiken on there.
はい、内房ヤンキー803ポロットヤンキー57ドビックス
I might have to fly that manually ourselves, guys,
ハードナップ
because it's totally different to what the sim's telling us. As usual. Let's get the latest METAR for our RJTT.
All Nippon 983 cross runway 198 taxi to spot.
All Nippon 983 cross 198 taxi to spot.
Performance.
Korean 704 clear for ILS Yankee runway 01 right approach.
Cleared ILS Yankee 01 right approach, Korean 704.
Of course, they're using American money. They're using that 3021. Altimeter 3021. Kawake, temperature's 8 degrees. 020 at 7 knots. So landing with a crosswind. And let's get our charts for decision heights. Approach. ILS Zulu 34 left. Decision height of 200 foot on the charts. And this is if it doesn't change. We might be given another runway. And it's 5,000 foot. Transition level, flight level 140, which is what we're at currently. Cool. And it's a 3-degree glide slope. We checked the rad nav, it's 111.7, good. The course should be 337, but it's not going to let us put it in, as we can see there. So we'll just have to hope that works. And Haneda VOR is 112.2. In case we have to do a go around. So that's our arrival briefed, he says, except for that Oshima arrival. It's completely different to what he wants, what he's going to expect, so hopefully we don't upset him. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please click that subscribe button down below and join us as a frequent flyer. And every now and again the bot puts on the chat information about our Discord server, so feel free to join us there as well. I'm always happy to take requests for content, so if there's anything you guys want to see specifically, those of you who are regular on the channel know that you can do so. You can just send me a message on there, on the content suggestions tab. And vote in our regular polls as well for what content you guys might want to see that will be coming up.
Tokyo Control, Korean 704, established localizer.
Korean 704, runway 01 right, clear turn, window 2303.
2303, clear to land, 01 right, Korean 704, thank you.
All Nippon 106, clear turn.
So, at some point soon we'll be looking to get our approach clearance, and we can see there, runway 34 left, QNH 3022, so it is American money. They're using Mercury.
All Nippon 106, freeback is correct.
Hopefully the weather clears as we get closer to Osaka, because I'd quite like to see the bay as we make our way in. So he's asking 1022 or 3022, so...
Tony Control, good evening, Cathay 526, flight level 390.
He hasn't realised, like I've done that entire outbound there with UK QNH. He's just realised too.
1044 and ident Cathay 5.
See, SimBrief matches the charts, but the nav data that Navigraph have installed doesn't, so I'm going to get rid of that because I don't like the fact that it's forced nav data in that might be incorrect. I've actually cancelled my Navigraph subscription.
Radar contact to maintain level 39.
I got it for 1 month, £9. What the hell is it doing? I got it for 1 month purely so that we could get purely so that I could get a updated air rack on SimBrief, and then I cancelled it.
106 pushback approved runway 34 right.
So we're looking for the Oshima 1 Alpha arrival.
North 106 and also wind 020 at 7 QNH 3021.
He might ask us to report arrival intentions as he did before.
All Nippon 1892, expect ILS Yankee runway 34 right approach.
Expect ILS Yankee runway 34 right approach at All Nippon 1892. So he's changed it slightly for us. So flight plan, arrival 34 right, Yankee. Come on, clicky click click click. Let's go. Zach 1 Alpha. Via Kaiho, I guess we haven't got a choice there. Interestingly, that has given us the correct one. How odd. So that's got the correct data in, which matches the charts perfectly actually. How bizarre.
Cathay 56, reclear direct to Buffy, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain flight level 250.
So we want ILS Yankee 34 right.
Cathay 526 direct to Buffy and descend on discretion to flight level 250.
Where is it? There's ILS Yankee 34 right, got you. So transitions via Kaiho. Which is nice because then we're flying in the bay. Zach 1 Alpha. What we got? Wanda, Wedge, Kaiho. So have a little look at this. Wanda should be there somewhere, but I can't see it anymore. Arlon. There's Kaiho. We'll just fly as per that line there is telling us to do. We need to make sure, of course, that our RadNav page is updated with the new ILS frequency. So approach runway 34 right, ILS Yankee. And we've got a different ILS frequency now, 108.9, and that is updated, so that's correct in the RadNav page as well. And we're almost in our arrival procedure already. So it's inbound transition by Kaiho, which is the initial approach fix at 4,000 foot. Flying in the bay itself, before then turning in for a 6.6 mile final from 1,500 foot, so low. Final approach course there's 337 degrees. And just check to see if the minimums has changed here, and it's not, it's also 200 foot, so that's good. But it's a Cat 2 ILS, then it would be 100 foot.
Tokyo Control, Dynasty 173, radio check.
Dynasty 173, Tokyo 12, reading U5.
So we should get clearance to descend through the star, which is the Oshima 1 Alpha arrival.
Korean Air 704, cross runway 01 left, taxi to gate to your discretion.
See, that's slightly out because it should be going to Umuki from Wanda.
Left and
Wanda Wedge, and then it should be Umuki
My discretion, Korean Air 704, thank you.
Shima 1 to Charlie, Shima 1 Alpha. Interesting. There's so many arrivals.
All Nippon 1892, cleared via Oshima night arrival and 2019 10,000.
Cleared by the Oshima 1 arrival, descend 9,000 was it for All Nippon 1892?
All Nippon 1892, verify Oshima night arrival.
Come on. Oshima night arrival All Nippon 1892. Ah, yeah, gotcha. Oshima 1 night arrival, which we don't have in the sim. So,
All Nippon 9983, お疲れ様でした。
So we're going to have to one night arrival into Acorn, which is what we've got, and then heading 026 for 9.1 miles. Solar 10.1 miles. So this is where the sim ruins it for us a little bit, because we can't see where we're going because we don't have the approach data for this. Unless I can quickly find a different star. So 34 Yankee. Come on, quick. Oshima night. Otibo, is that on our charts? Let's have a quick look. Funnily enough, no. That's annoying. If I'm neglecting the chat, then apologise. Dominic, thank you. You joined the Discord. Great to hear. Oshima night, so I'm going to fly what he's telling me as best as I can, because max 230 knots, that's good, that's what we're doing. Performance, activate.
All Nippon 106, runway 34 right, taxi to holding point Lima 3.
How many flying hours have I accumulated as a pilot? Lots and lots. I'm not actually sure off the top of my head, roughly. It should be a couple of hundred, I believe. I'm going to have to fly this manually on the star because I can't see where the hell we're meant to be going. So I'm going to be using the charts actually now to fly this with the headings in each one. 9.1 miles to Solar. Let's put that back into managed speed, so we just fly that green dot. Then we need to go 052 to Scout. Oh, you know what? Let's just leave it in managed.
All Nippon wide 902 です。maintain 6000.
Says maintain 6,000 on Nippon 18902. I'm just going to leave it unmanaged because I don't know which one's correct anymore. This is so when you install Navigraph, you get the data in there as well, and that's why I've gone and installed. I've installed that nav data as well. So that's why I believe it's hard to tell really. I'm going to delete the Navigraph data, I think. I flew into Paro yesterday and I had some issues as well. So the Navigraph data seems to be conflicting with the Asobo data, and I can't work out which is the issue, so I guess both. How many hours have I accumulated as a pilot FM1 crew? Well over a couple of hours, to be honest. But annoyingly, the sim it still gives us that issue where unless you taxi to an exact stand where there is a specific marshaller, it doesn't register the end of the flight, so it still shows that I've only done 200 hours, which is really wrong. I've done about 500, I think. So, turning, we've got Tokyo all the way off in the distance where the cursor is. We're flying up towards Chiba. And we will be flying in. We've got Umuki, Kaiho, and then in for that 6.6 mile approach at Curvy. So Umuki has to be 6,000. The controller's probably wondering what the hell I'm doing, but nothing between the sim nav data and the actual charts on Navigraph charts, nothing adds up. The Ashima 1 November arrival is totally different, so I don't know. We're going with this anyway. I'm just leaving it in managed. I can blame the sim then. There's Osaka, I keep saying Osaka, there's Haneda in the distance, the two runways there. So we're flying up here, turning right and then in. For short finals basically. For what's been actually quite a nice little journey for us.
Cathay 526, expect ILS Zulu runway 34 right approach. Expect ILS Zulu runway 34 right
Haneda's busy again.
For Cathay 526.
When we left Haneda, there was a couple of aircraft departing. We had some All Nippon, we had JAL and Korean, and we had a Philippines airline flight landing just before I started the stream as well. So a nice little variety actually. And happily, it is clearing up for us as well. 6,000 minus 1,400 will do us. We'll do minus 1,500. We've got all the lights on, seatbelt signs on.
106, cross runway 34 left at Lima 3, taxi to holding point, runway 34 right.
There's the airport. Yokohama is over here, just over the bridge. And I can't see any speed restrictions for this point, except for 230 knots, which is what we're within at the moment. So that's all fine for us. So into Umuki via Kaiho. We're basically flying through the bay. So we're flying up to this point here, turning right, and then in for final approach for short finals. I can see my Yokohama Royal Park Hotel in the distance there. Beautiful hotel, loved every moment of stopping there regularly. Where's our charts for ILS runway 34 right, ILS Yankee. Kaiho at 4,000, Cecil at 1,500, Kirby at 2,000. Wow. Okay. Kevin, no problem at all. I hope it's working for you now anyway. I know it can be a bit of a pain to set up sometimes. He's cleared us on the arrival as well. Descend, maintain 4,000, cleared ILS Yankee, 34 right, approach and Nippon 18902. Ground spoilers, seatbelts, engine icing. Let's do flaps 1. So the new ILS mode in the nav display, as we can see here, it removes the flight plan as well for us. Let's have a little look again. 108.9. 108.9, and there we go, ITC, so it's just picking up the ILS now. Lovely.
Clear to Taipei International Airport via Tomo West 1 departure.
Beautiful approach.
Coach transition. Flight plan route. Maintain flight level 300. Squawk 1032.
This is absolutely one of my favourite places in the world, this. Everything about it is just incredible. There's Yokohama City on the bridge. So Tokyo itself, you've got Tokyo City, which is a prefecture inside Tokyo, and then you've got, I think, 32 different cities that make up the wider Tokyo as we know it.
Runway 24 left. 23027, Tennessee 173.
So we should get descent to 2,000.
Cathay 526, cleared by route SANGO arrival, descent maintain 1000.
He's cleared us for the ILS, so at this point now we are flying the approach down to 2,000 foot for Kirby, and then 1,500 at Cecil, as you guys can see on the charts here. Let's get rid of the icing. Hope you guys have enjoyed the little live stream today. It's great to come back into Tokyo for a little while.
All Nippon 18902, we have a departure, runway 34 right, continue approach.
Departure ahead, continue approach, runway 34 right, and Nippon 18902. So it's coming up there with ILS glide slope Cat 3, runway 34, happy days. Just below the glide slope, which is good to see.
All Nippon 106, wind 010 at 8, runway 34 right, clear for takeoff.
There's an aircraft departing on the runway, just there, that's where the runway is. So we're coming over the bay, we turn in for finals.
Inbound Airbus 320, 9 miles on final, 34 right.
106、すいません、チャーリー1から離陸したいのですぐ行けなさそうです。ホールドショート行きますか。
オリポン106、了解しました。チャーリー1でも、離陸可能だ
Water
と思
brake
いますが、
low, ground spoilers are armed, cabin's ready, lights are on.
念のためホールドします。
オリポン106、了解しました。ホールショートランウェイ34ライト、チャーリー1。
ホールショートランウェイ34ライト、チャーリー1 for 106、thank you。
Oripo 18, 902 departure waiting for you. Runway 34 right, clear run, wind 01 at 8.
Cleared land, 34 right on Nippon 18902. He said departure waiting, so he's got loads of time to get him off. I'm not sure why. But you know, hey ho. So the new ILS rose removes the flight plan. See, now he's almost sort of put pressure on me to not slow down too much for our final approach, because there's an aircraft ahead, but we'll keep going until we're a couple of miles out and we'll go gear down. There's the airports, and we'll arm approach mode. So we've got all the lights and things on, good. Slightly overshot that localizer, interestingly enough. I mean, I gave it enough time. So let's see if it corrects itself. It probably won't, let's face it. It is Microsoft Flight Simulator after all. Here we go, inbound to Tokyo Haneda. Mount Fuji off in the distance through the cloud. Let's go gear down. Yeah, very good point, David. Spacing isn't my job. I'm just flying the plane. We'll go gears down and flaps full for the final approach. We should be passing the, I can't remember what it's called now, but the sail. And interestingly, we are not tracking that localizer very well. Aviation simulation, you did. We've done Hachijojima, which was a really bad visibility approach, but was quite a fun one actually. And then we've turned around and we've departed back to Tokyo Haneda. We should be passing the sail.
173, request push and start up.
We should see that pass in a second. Don't want to leave it too late because we're flying it manually. We're just on the glide slope now. Oh, we've passed the sail. I thought it was a little odd. There's our ILS glide slope. Let's fly it manually, shall we? We've got gear down, signs on, cabin ready, spoilers on, flaps full, auto brake low. I have control.
Cathay 526, clear direct to Tyler, descend 5,000.
Taxi Tyler, direct descend 5,000, Cathay 526.
Bring that nose up slightly, we're losing the glide slope a little bit. We'll get our minimums caught shortly. Captain K, 737 flying Athens to Heathrow, currently flight level 340. Beautiful, great route. There's an All Nippon 787 there, guys.
100 above, 100 above.
Minimums?
Minimum.
And down.
All Nippon 106, runway 34 right, friends, runway 8.
Runway 34 right, line up on the way to All Nippon 106.
Ooh, weird. My throttle seemed to reactivate then.
All Nippon 18992, taxi to gate, your discretion.
Taxi to gate at discretion, All Nippon 18902 and runway vacated.
Sure.
Parking spots. Strobes. Taxi. APU bleed. And we'll do flaps.
Control, Rejana 105 with you, flight 7
We'll taxi to Terminal 2 again.
Shana on the right 5, Tokyo Control. We'll be closing soon. Please.
Odd little bug there. We got smooth landing, but then interestingly had that strange. We had that strange moment where it decided to apply toga. That Dreamliner's just taken off. So I'm going to try and see if we can catch that. Whilst not crashing on the ground. So let's ignore the taxiing or the lack of taxi skill at the moment. Just going to try and catch this guy going. Off he goes as I'm passing that yellow line. Jesus hasn't come in today to the live chat, unfortunately. This is my model matching tool that seems to be working nicely.
Taxi to runway 24 left. There's 173, taxi to holding point, runway 24 left. Taxi to holding point, runway 24 left, and C173.
Off he goes. Fantastic. So we could go into here actually. Yeah, let's go into here. Tokyo's fantastic, beautiful airport. Osaka's fantastic. Again, ignore ignore the really bad taxiing. Good grief.
Tokyo 106, leaving 1800 for level 300.
Tokyo 106, radar contact.
And Nippon 1892 parking up and logging off. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Nippon 1892, thank you for your flight. Arigatou gozaimasu.
So that's us saying thank you very much in Japanese. It's one of the very few phrases I know.
Say again, Cathay 526.
Cathay 526.
And stand 60, which is exactly where we left. So we'll taxi back.
Right approach, Cathay 526.
Yeah, interestingly, both of you there, Captain K and FN crew, you make good points. The last update, oddly, seems to have removed the landing gear.
Your control will be closed in 5 minutes.
They seems to have removed the landing gear from the AI models. I'm not really sure why. It's either an issue with the AI model files from the liveries or something else. I'm not sure. We go on the line. APU bleed. Oh, logged off there. Zoomed out too much. Beacon. Seatbelt signs, engine 1 and 2 off, and we could go ahead and do pushback express, jet bridge, baggage. If it spawns, there it is. Catering, there it is. So that's put my teeth in. FS2 Cruise Pushback Express. Disconnect from VATSIM as we've just done. So arigatou gozaimasu to the controller for today. Where is that air bridge going? Doors 4. Wow. That's not correct. Oh dear. Good old Asobo. Boarding and exiting from the rear. Stunning airport. Especially in real life, it is really good to fly into and out of. An incredible tower as well. And of course, when you depart, you always get a view of Mount Fuji on a good day. So I can really highly recommend it. In real life, I highly recommend Tokyo. It's absolutely one of my favourite places in the world, and probably one of the few places where I felt genuinely abroad and immersed in a completely different culture and world almost. But everything about it is positive. It's great. So nothing bad to say there. Let's get rid of the charts. We don't need those. Thank you all for watching today on the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Hachijojima with the VOR DME arc approach and the very low vis landing. We didn't get visibility until minimums. And then the return with the ILS approach. So thank you all for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you do click that subscribe button and join me as a frequent flyer. And we'll see you again soon for another live stream.